my channel. So today I'm going to do a much needed update on my Pan That palette and my Pan That palette in order. So I have kind of mentioned that I am going to be changing my Pan That palette in order just so it works for me. I was heavily inspired to start the project because I was watching Caitlin Costello and I was wrong in my last video. I feel like in one of my videos I said she's no longer doing it, and she is doing it. So go check out her channel down below in my description if you don't already follow her. But basically you have to hit pan in all of the shades in a palette in order, as it says in the title. So I think let's start with the Pan That palette in order because I've been working on my Beauty Bay Earthly palette, and as you can gather, it is such a stupid palette to start with because it's so enormous. But my reasoning was because Beauty Bay typically has been easy for me to hit pan on. So I thought if I'm gonna hit pan on every single shade and I have to do it in order, let's pick a brand that is technically easy for me to do this. Now, was I correct in saying that it's easy? No, because I do not have a pan to share with you. However, I am going to be making changes to this project. So a few of you were writing some suggestions in my last video, and two of you had a similar suggestion, and so I've taken those and I've made it my own. Instead of a Pan That palette in order, I think I'm going to have to name it Pan That palette squared or Pan That palette cubed, something like that. Because technically I'm not going to be panning in order either row by row or column by column, and you'll see in a minute why I say that. So anyway, just to recap you, this is what the palette looks like. And I've started up here and I was working down. So officially I'm supposed to be working on this shade, which is called Fern, which I actually have. So this shade I've gone into 4 times this month. And there's a little bit of disturbance, but still no pan. But I do think I'm going to hit pan in it in the next few uses because it's going kind of like this one. It's the same type of formula. It's a matte, and I feel like I'm going to hit pan really easy. And I do have it on my lids today. So technically I'm supposed to be hitting pan in this, but I have been going into other shades based on the new ruling that I have decided to implement. And hopefully this doesn't upset anybody. It's not like I'm going to go all the way over here and start panning just some random shades. There is a little bit of logic to the system. So if a shade already has a pan, then I can go to whichever shade is next to it. And I think, and it's going to be kind of like that. So I do have these 2 pans. So technically I can work on this shade right here, which is called Ivy. And I actually have gone into it twice this month. And because I have a pan here, I can also go into Trance, which I have not gone into. But these 2 are fair game for me to try to hit pan because they are connected to another pan. I also have a pan here, which I already had in the palette. So I'm not going to go diagonally, but I am going to go like when it's like right directly, right next to it. So the top 2 and then the sides are also fair game. So obviously I've got Leafy, which I could potentially hit pan on because it's connected to this shade. I have not gone into that one. I do have Seaweed, which is connected, and that one I've gone into twice. So I have gone into that one. There's also Brick. I've gone into that 4 times. And then there's this one, which is Pickle, and I haven't gone into it. So for me, it's been a lot more fun because I've been able to go into multiple shades and not just be stuck with one shade to hit pan on. And I'm still following some kind of rule system. So that is what I'm doing with my Pan That palette in order / cubed. So let me know if I should change the title because obviously Pan That palette in order, you're supposed to do it in order. This is a little bit different. So I'm happy to create a new project, which is kind of similar, but it's like a sub-category of the Pan That palette in order or like an offset of it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, let me know if this is okay for you guys. Hopefully you're not too upset with me, but for me it's working because if I had only just been working on that shade, I've only gone into it 4 times, but I've actually gone into 3 other shades this month based on the new rules that I think make a lot of sense. So that's where I'm at. No new pans, unfortunately, but ever since I made the decision, I have been going into this palette more because I know I don't have to be stuck with this one. I could go into a dark green that might work with a different look that I'm trying to create, because this is quite a murky lighter green that I don't necessarily always want to go into, but then these darker tones, I can pair that really nicely with a brown and it works great. This one I would ultimately have to do like a green look like I've done today. And actually today I went into Fern, then I went into Ivy to deepen it out a little bit. And then this shade over here is actually in my Gloss Gods palette, the Let's Get Nude palette, which is in my Pan Nose eyeshadows. And then I didn't think it was dark enough, so I went into the shade Seaweed just to deepen out a tiny bit. And then my inner corner, I have a highlighter. So yeah, so I've gone into a few of the shades for this look, and I have to tell you, I'm really not into my greens. So the fact that I've been able to, go into this shade and not have to go into a green has been so much fun. This one I went into 4 times. So I have been pairing it with some other shades that I have in projects or just other palettes. And it might maybe take a little bit longer to eventually hit pan in some of these, but I feel like it works a little bit better for me, so that's what I'm going to keep on doing, especially with such a big palette. If I didn't have such a big palette and if it wasn't majority green toned, then maybe I wouldn't even do this, but I think it works for this case. So yeah, this is my new Pan That Palette cubed/squared/in order project. Hope you keep watching for it. All right, and then we have my Pan That palette. Oh, I'm so annoyed with my Pan That palette. I'll put up on the screen what it looked like last time, but obviously, as you know, I've been working on this all year long, and you all just voted for my new Pan That palette for next year. I'm not gonna say what it is, but honestly, yeah, it's not even like close between the different options. There's like one clear winner, and then there's 2 that are very close to each other, but they would like be the second and third option. And I don't know if I'm gonna have 2 Pan That palettes for next year or just the one, because quite a few of you want me to do 2. And I think it would work depending on what palette is chosen. So I have to think about it. But anyway, my Pan That palette's been the Stone Vibes from Urban Decay. My goal, I think, this month really was just to hit pan on Hexed, which is the brown matte in the corner, because I pretty much hit pan on everything else aside from the darker blue. And I'm just very annoyed because I still have not hit pan in it. So this is what it's looking like. This is where it is. Still no pan. But yeah, I really haven't been going into it too much, as you can see. I mean, it's got a lot of use, but I'm not the type of person to roll in a Pan That palette and have to finish the palette. I think I'm fine with just getting as much use out of it as possible. And I'm not going to be decluttering this. It's still fine. It still functions fine, even with how old it is. So it's going to stay in my collection next year, even when it's not a Pan That palette. But it's just fun to see how much use I've got out of it. So anyway, let's get into the usage. So Jade, I did not use this month. Opal Aura, I used once. And then we have Tiger's Eye, did not use. Vibes, did not use. We've got Antidote, I used that twice. Hexed, which is the one that I really want to hit pan on. And it's got quite a dip, quite a crater there, but still no pan. I used that 5 times. Bloodstone, I used twice. I feel like this one's expanded actually, Bloodstone. Ojo, I have actually used twice because I do want to hit pan in it, but I'm not quite there yet. Then we've got Raw Energy, did not use. Meditate, did not use. And then Third Eye is the one I use the most, which is 7 uses. So yeah, definitely slowed down. I've slowed down, I think, the last 4 months, which is to be expected. Yeah, I'm still using it. Like, I'm determined to hit. I definitely want to hit pan. Oh my God, we only have 1 more update. So am I going to be able to do 1 more update? But I want to hit pan in this, and I want to hit pan in Ojo. I think Ojo will be difficult, but this one should be there. I don't know why it's not budging, and it's very, very pigmented. So it's not like I can dig my brush in there and go in 100 million times to hit pan. I get the product and I got it, and then I'm like, there's no shiny pan, but oh well, it's fine. So yeah, this one and this one are going to be my focus for the next month. The rest, if I use, that's absolutely fine. But I think it would be really a lot of fun if I can have all pans in here, because originally when I rolled this in, and I think maybe month 1 or 2, I was thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to hit pan in everything, but I'll just hit pan and like work on the shades that I like. But now I feel like the end is very near, as we know, and I want to hit pan on everything. Obviously I've finished one. I want to hit pan on these 2, and then I have a palette where I have pans in every single shade, which I don't think that I have in my collection, because I got rid of my last Pan That palette, which was my Elf Paradise So yeah, that's where we are with the pan that palette. So obviously I do have quite a lot of projects going on, but I really, really, really want to see 2 shiny pan, at least 1 in the matte. I mean, if I don't have a pan in that matte by my finale, like what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, but we only have 1 month left. Isn't that crazy? It's Christmas in a month. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, all right, that is my update. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you all next time. Bye.